All right, guys, we're going to be talking about a good neutral article today. It's a TK News by Matt Tubley. I'm going to put a link in the description. I'm going to read some things out of it. You know, something right down the middle and neutral is hard to find these days. And that's kind of where I'm at, because if you're in the middle, you tend to get pushed to the extreme right, which is just really weird to me. That's not what I want. I don't like either one of them. Being extreme this way and being extreme this way are almost the same. It's the opposite negative of the same coin, I think. And I think any situation that pulls you to either one of these sides is dangerous for you. And that's kind of what this kind of talks about. This guy is talking about a book called 1984. I've not read this book, but it looks good. It's on my list. I'm actually going to run out and go get it and read it. So it seems kind of like kind of something up my alley, sort of like a I don't know, kind of like the Giver type of situation, sort of. So anyway, we're going to read a few things out of here and just kind of talk about some things really quickly. Not a big long video, but yeah, let's do some critical thinking. Let's talk. We can't solve any problems if we can't have an open discussion and discourse on things, and that's where we're going wrong. We can't censor our way into democracy. That doesn't make any sense, guys. That's like the opposite of it, dude. I mean, we got people like hating like freedom and stuff right now, and we want to bring this to other people. Like, where you guys are at? This is kind of crazy. And let's talk about this. It's called Doublethinkers. Let's see. Let's read some things out of here. So it says Orwell was right. From free speech to sphere of influence to our passions for endless war, we've become the Doublethinkers 1984 predicted. Let's go into this a little bit more. And what is a double thinker? He says that he reread this book, 1984. He tends to reach for this book when he gets to that DEFCON 1 depressing about the state of the world. And that's about where I'm at. So I'm going to go read this book. It sounds like a good one. The Giver was like that for me too as well. It's another good book. You should jump into that one. Winston ponders the intricacies of doublethink. Let's talk about this. Let's read this very carefully. Let's think about these words too when I'm reading them. Don't just hear them, feel them, absorb these things, okay? To know and not to know. To be conscious of complete truthfulness while telling carefully constructed lies. To hold simultaneously two opinions which canceled out. Knowing them to be contradictory and to believe in both of them. To forget whatever it was necessary to forget and then draw it back into memory again at the point of when it was needed, and then to promptly forget it again. That was the ultimate subtlety. Now, that's pretty powerful. I really think, I mean, it's a really eloquent way and intricate way, a little more complex way to kind of say what's going on. Well, it's a complex situation we're in. It's super complex, man, and we're being censored. So how can we make a reasonable, deductive reasoning for a solution to this problem that we're in? It's so complex, and we can't get the right things. There's no way we can't solve problems with no information. Right? The first thing that you do when solving a problem or you're in a science experiment is data gathering. Our data is corrupt. We don't have any data. No matter what data you're looking for right now, it's probably corrupt. That's crazy. All right. And it goes on to say some stuff like that. We're going to kind of like brush over this. It's talking about how Russia's, we're talking about people like, taking it down. Fake news everywhere. We're banning everything. We're taking everything out. We're overreaching, and it's just crazy. Russia's doing the same thing, because I do believe we're probably misinforming. I see all this stuff about, we've had these big, great triumphs over it. I think they're lies, probably. I've seen it before. We've got a whole bunch of them. Project Paperclip, Project Mockingbird. There's so many. There's no reason why there's no reason for me to believe that we're not lying, because it's been proven already so many times. So that's up for you to decide if you think that's true or not. I can't make that decision for you. I just think that with our track record, it doesn't look very good. I'm not convinced by the West. Okay. So Russia appears to be doing the same thing. They're stopping, they want to stop the term war to describe what's going on over there. And, maybe they have some reasons to, I mean, look it up. Don't one of my whole purpose here is to say, don't look at what's on the surface here of what's going on. Everybody is being misinformationed right now. Everyone is. And some people are allowed to do the misinformation, and some people are not allowed to do the misinformation. I think we should just let it all air out. The best sanitizer in this situation, in this cesspool, is sunlight. When the lily pads are all blocking the sunlight out, then the algae grows and the water gets all mucky and clear and we can't see. We need to clear all this lies out and the bullshit and the censorship and let the sun come through and sanitize it. Without that, we can't have an open Discord conversation and solve any of these problems. And that is a terrible thing for us, okay? It's terrible. It's terrible. And then we're going to flip-flop on double standards here. So Facebook will allow posts calling for violence against Russians and calling for Putin's death. They've unbanned the neo-Nazi Azov battalion with mind-blowing decision to alter its hate speech policies to allow it. What is going on? I'm very confused by this. How do we have this? Why is it okay? And then why is it that, if we're going to do this censorship, if we're going to do this fact checking, when the fact checks become wrong in a year from now, why do we keep on doubling down on the same thing? There's no I am sorry. There's nothing everything. It goes back to forgetting it and to remembering it when it's convenient for you. That is not cool. Go back to that very first paragraph that we said, to draw it back into memory again at the moment when it was needed, and then to promptly forget it again. That is the ultimate subtlety. My goodness, folks, that's crazy. This is a crazy world that we live in. We got to do something. You know who the poor people are? You know who I want to pray for? The civilians. The civilians, Ukrainian civilians, the United civilians, the Russian civilians, just fucking civilians, man. We are all suffering for this bullshit. Why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor? And I'm not convinced of the West. I don't believe in them. I don't like Russia. I'm not sympathizing with anybody. I don't take any sides. I'm just right down the middle trying to figure this out. I wish I could have an open conversation with truthfulness with you guys, but we can't. We're on social medias that destroying the socialness of it. We can't have a social media. It's an oxymoron. If you can't talk, you can't be social. We can't figure out problems. I want to end this with a very cool thing he says here at the end, dude. This is, again, Matt Taibbi's words here. Very good. There's a real tragedy unfolding on the underside of Earth. I don't want to make light of it, but another of 1984's prediction was a future where war would become purely internal affair, where even when there's real fighting going on in a faraway land, the real target is always the domestic population, whose memories and doubts and distracting emotional attachments are the real threats and must be constantly policed. It's all coming true, with forever war and slogans like "close the sky" and demanding primacy in our thoughts. We are asked to forget as patriotic duty. It isn't. Never give up memories, no matter how hard you're being pushed. Never give up your memories, no matter how hard you're being pushed. And with that, I leave a link in the description to go read this very good article. He runs down on it. And I remind you, let's have some open discourse. Don't just be force-fed your information and regurgitate it. There's a real problem here going on. We cannot censor our way into democracy.